So our goals today are pretty simple. You're going to be able to identify each question type in the TOEFL reading with ease. There are 10 question types. I'm going to go through them really quickly here and then show you some examples because I learn best through examples. So I'll just do the same for you guys as well. There's vocabulary questions, factual information, negative factual information, inference questions, rhetorical purpose questions, sentence simplification questions, insert text questions, reference questions, browse summary questions, and fill in a table questions. So a lot of question types that you really don't want to learn about, but you have to learn about for this test. And so yeah, it's a real headache. It's a real headache to remember these question types. Let's make your life a lot easier to make it easier to spot each question type. So there's going to be 8 simple rules. The first rule, now maybe these don't sound so simple, but I'll try to make them as simple as possible. The first rule is that vocabulary and reference choice questions contain few words. A reference question, you probably know what a vocabulary question is, but a reference question is where they ask you what does his or her or their or these things refer to. They're not very common questions, but they're very easy to spot. Now, why are they easy to spot? Because like vocabulary questions, they have very few words. There's just one word for each choice in vocabulary or just for a phrase as well. Same thing with this reference question. It says the other refers to and then just a couple of choices. So these questions don't look very long, not a lot of words. Pretty simple to spot these questions. Second simple rule is that summary and table questions come last. Table questions are pretty rare. At most, you will see 1 in a TOEFL test. You'll probably have 3 summary questions. They are always question 10. These questions are always question 10 in each passage. They'll look something like this. This is TST Prep's version. It's a little bit different than the actual test. The actual test, it'll look something like this, but you'll have to choose multiple answers, and it's always the last question. So that's pretty simple, and this is an example of a table question. And again, it's always the last question of the passage. The third rule is insert text questions will have these little black squares. So in our test, they look like this. On the TOEFL, they'll look like this. You have a sentence and you have to put it in one of those black squares. It's pretty simple for the most part. That's an insert text question. I'm not going to talk about specific strategies for each of these question types. We talk about that in our complete courses or in other videos on YouTube. All right, let's keep going. The next simple rule is that sentence simplification uses the same words all the time. In other words, the question is always worded the same way. You see how this is written in question 8? It's always written the same way in every single sentence simplification question. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but basically, which of the following best expresses da 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 da? It's always worded exactly the same. So if you see this wording, that means it's a sentence simplification question. Next simple rule. Inference questions include the words infer, imply, or suggest. So if you see a question with the word infer, for example here, what can be inferred about Margaret Fuller from the information in paragraph 6? That's an inference question. Negative factual questions includes the words not or except. So these questions are kind of tricky because here you're trying to find the wrong answer, which one is not correct. So they will have in all capitals the word not or except. In this example, which of the following is not true about Ralph Waldo Emerson? So just look for those big words not or except in the question. The 7th simple rule is that rhetorical purpose includes the words why or in order to. These are also called author's purpose questions. This is why the author wrote or said something. Here's an example. Why does the author say his romanticism influenced ideas? So why does the author say that? This is different than the last simple rule, factual information questions. Factual information questions is all the other questions, pretty much. These have a lot of different ways of being written. They say like according to the passage. A lot of times they are what questions, what or how or where. So these WH questions, not why. Y is usually for author's purpose or rhetorical purpose questions. So these questions, for example here, according to paragraph 1, what did transcendentalists do? Or, for example, what does the author say about hydroponics in paragraph 2? So those are factual information questions. There's a lot of different ways that those are worded. I hope that was clear. This is not about strategy for answering each question type. That's a little bit more detailed and difficult to explain. Basically, students, there's a lot of question types. You don't know how to figure them all out. I just wanted to make it really simple here, and I hope you feel like these 8 simple rules will make it clearer for you of how to answer each question and how to see which type of question you're dealing with when you're taking the test. So I hope you feel like you're able to. So I hope you feel like you're able to identify each question type. All right, thank you guys for watching. Please visit us at tstprep.com, and again, be proud of yourself. So many other things you could be doing besides studying for the TOEFL, but you sat through to the end of this video. I really appreciate you. I appreciate your time. And yeah, tstprep.com, we're always here to help. All right, take care, guys. See you in the next video.